Oh boy. It's been a while since the last time I saw this screen. And there's really a couple reasons why. The main reason is I was dead for a while, of course. But I'm not lying when I say that the events of the previous episode of Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works kind of broke me. It was probably evident in the video, but like literally I was thinking about that for days on end. It ruined, I forget the day, but like the immediate like day that happened ruined my day. Honestly, it was just the best thing ever. Like, somehow it has literally been months since I've played this game because of that absolute nonsense that happened last time. The good news is I'm going to be doing this episode, and you guys are going to be getting another episode in a few days. So I might actually record more of this later today if it doesn't completely break me. But yeah, this game is so good. And it's that same thing where it's like, when I think about doing an entire another route of this stupid ass game, I'm like petrified. I'm like so terrified at the thought of actually playing Fate a third time. It's a really interesting experience, right? I feel like this is one of the few times where it's like, I love a game so much I don't want to play it, right? Like, that's not really... It's interesting, but, I do love this game so much. I can't wait for the proper reveal of Archer's identity. We've all but had it at this point, but... to the execution ground. I mean, what better way to put it than that? Jesus Christ. Like, I don't even know what to say, guys. Like, this is gonna be absolutely insane. And now we got, we got Lancer with us. The dynamic trio. I don't even know what to call it. I mean, that's a dynamic duo right there. That is, even if it's not literally, that is theoretically the two strongest servants. Like, oh man, I can't wait to fill out that true name. Oh man. But like that Archer for me, and I've used this analogy to compare to people, to the people I've talked to about this. I feel like the whole Archer thing, it's like, for me personally, I feel like it's like how a lot of people back in the day felt about the major twist in The Empire Strikes Back. This was my Empire Strikes Back moment. I don't know if I've ever quite felt that way about a reveal before. There's been a lot of amazing twists and reveals I've seen in fiction, but something about the Archer thing just hit me in a way that I don't know if anything else ever has, really, as far as just like a pure just twist. And yeah, that I think elevated what's already been an incredible experience, and now Fate Stay Night is in my upper echelon of like some of my favorite things I've ever watched or played or what have you. And we still have the actual conclusion to this route and then a whole fucking other route to get to. So I don't even know what to say. I don't really want to get in more depth into what happened last time because so much stuff happened. We had like the Rin Saber, like Saber becoming Rin Servant moment, which was like so peak. There was so much in the last episode. Just watch it. Oh, come to think of it, Lancer was still here.
なんだ、案外暇なんだな、あんた。
Yeah, it would seem so. It just slips out. He seems to be aware of it himself, as he doesn't seem to deny it.
ランサー、あなたが何を企んでいるかは知りませんが、私たちに同行しても得るものはありません。
Yeah, it seems like it's a pride thing for him.
アーチャーはすでにマスターを持たないサーバント。あなたのマスターが倒したがるとは思えませんが。
ああ、分かってる分かってる。別にアーチャーの野郎をどうこうしようって気はねえ。坊主と奴の殺し合いにも手は出さねえから安心しろ。
Sure.
では何のためについてこようというのです。 私との決着を望むのならここでつけても構いませんが。
いや、それも願い下げだな。俺は貴様のマスターと敵対する気はない。むしろ売りたいのはオンでね。こ
Interesting.
こらで菓子を作っておこうと、そういう腹だ。
Yeah, and that's like the other thing about this is there's still more stuff going on in this route. Like this archer thing shouldn't be the like end game of this route, which is also crazy at this point. Saber glares at Lancer. Yeah, look at the bull. Saber has that patented glare with like her dead eye or fish eyes, and then forget Lancer with that great face too. And Lancer aloofly ignores her stare.
わかった。好きにしろ。遠坂を助ける手助けをしてくれるならこっちも助かる。
シロ、ランサーは敵です。そのような軽い決断は。
その点は大丈夫だろう。そいつ根性ひん曲がってるけど嘘を言うやつじゃないし、何より回りくどいことなんてできない。
By all accounts, that is
俺
kind
たち
of
を騙したいんならその前に真正面から倒しに来てるさ。
that is kind of my read on Lancer as well, based on what we've seen.
それはそうですが、しかし。
Doesn't necessarily mean we should trust him, but nonetheless, I get where Shirou's coming from here.
いや、セイバーが嫌だって言うなら追っ払う。けどこいつ放っておいてもついてくるぞ。それならそばにいさせて監視した方が楽だろう。
As they say, keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
たった数日で随分と口がうまくなったのですね、シロ。
Just compliment him in a more natural way, Saber. It's all right.
いや、いろいろあったから。ま、そういうことだ、ランサー。俺たちもあんたに関与しないから、あんたも俺たちには口を出さない。それでいいなら一緒に行こう。
Sounds good to me. I called a Lancer who's watching us with a smile.
十分だ。いや、いいコンビじゃねえか。
Wow.
セイバーは見ての通り融通が利かないからな。お前が大人になってくれて助かったぜ。
That's an interesting way to look at it. Shirou's matured.
そのようなことはありません。融通が利かないのはむしろシロの方だ。私がどれほど苦労したか、あなたに何がわかるのです。
That's true, but I would argue he's been more flexible in UBW than he was in Fate, because obviously the Fate route was about Sabers, so, you know, the way that relationship between Saber and Shirou evolved was kind of the crux of the arc, whereas in Unlimited Blade Works, in this route, it's, I don't even know how to describe it, because, like, I've always said, like, it was going to be about Rin and Archer, and, like, in a sense, it has been, but, I feel like it's kind of been more all over the place. Like, I feel like the Fate route was very fixated on Saber and Shirou, whereas Unlimited Blade Works has kind of had a lot of... The focus has been more spread out in general.
さあ。なんだ？聞けば話してくれるのか、セイバー。いいぜ。城までは随分とある。
Wow.
道中お前の苦労話を魚としよ
う。I love it.
なぜ私がそのようなことを説明しなくてはならないのです。それこそあなたには無関係ではないですか。
There is a little bit of a meta here, because he really does have nothing to do with this, which makes it extra funny that he's here in the first place. Saber accuses Lancer. Saber and Lancer really don't get along. That's why it's fun to see these two. I didn't think that Saber would yell like Tosaka. I mean, I know that she's making that face, which is adorable and hilarious. But I don't know, like, I wouldn't necessarily say Saber's at the point where she's yelling like Tosaka.
まあいいか。それより行くぞ。遊んでる暇はないんだ。できるだけ早く城に行かなくちゃいけないんだからな。
Yeah, it's time, baby. I leave the two behind and start walking.
シロ、私は遊んでいるわけではありません。
She must still be worked up and she yells as she catches up. Lancer keeps his distance from us and follows us aloofly. Yeah, if we're not going to get fun conversations, bro's just like, yeah, I'm just going to chill back here. It's midnight. Of course it is. I know how long it takes to get to the castle from here. We should be able to make it in time. We'll most likely get there by dawn. We head towards the masterless old castle in the forest and start walking in the night. Is this going to be... Yeah. Well, I didn't know there was a save point right there. Obviously, I would have went to that save point if that was the case. But that's fine. I'll still save anyways, though. February 14th. Unlimited Blade Works after image. All right. No guarantees I'll get through the whole day, though, because who knows how long this day will be, but we'll see. Interlude is going to be a Archer interlude here, probably. Let's get it. Yep. Or Rin interlude, I guess. It is daybreak. The knight in red is leaning against the pillar and staring at his own arm. He puts strength into his fingertips and clenches his fist. Only about half of his sensations are left. Even though he is a heroic spirit, he cannot maintain his existence without a master that helps him stay in this world. Archer is existing because of a special ability that his class holds, but that is nearing its limit. Yeah, that is, independent action, right? Yeah, he is independent action. And it's B rank independent action, not to be confused with, obviously, Gilgamesh has A+ independent action, which just allows him to just stay around indefinitely by all accounts. But, the Knight in Red's remaining strength is less than a tenth of his original powers. This is gonna be how, like, Shirou could theoretically beat him. His fists lack strength and he should slowly start fading if he lets his guard down. But there is no problem. Even if he only has a tenth of his powers remaining, is enough to finish Emiya Shirou off. Considering the difference in their abilities, this is not even a handicap. Therefore, it will end once they fight. His one and only objective will be accomplished here. Yeah, we're getting into weird, like, timey-wimey stuff with this whole idea of, like, he's gonna set himself free by killing his past self. Because, like, obviously heroic spirits exist beyond, like, the conventional sense of time. So I do wonder if that even, because his unique existence did exist, I don't necessarily know if this will actually save him, so to speak. Which, you know, is kind of what we've gotten at already. That is right. He has been waiting for this moment. He has endured the endless repetition hoping for this chance. He could only wait for a miracle that would not usually be able to occur with a possibility close to zero. And his wish is granted. No, it is about to be granted. He does not care about what awaits him afterwards. He will kill his own self with his own hands. That wish, which doesn't have enough of a future to be hope, is what kept him going after he wore out.
長かったのか、それとも刹那に過ぎなかったのか。
He is an existence that disappears after each summoning to start with. His memory does not remain intact whether he repeats the cycle 100 times or 1,000 times. It only stays in his body as knowledge. Heroic spirits know about other heroic spirits because they have accumulated knowledge. It is just like a book. Every time they are summoned, the book with its history is sent to its home. They remain in the house and read the books that are sent. What is troubling is that the one at the house does not know when those books are sent. The past or future does not matter. All the books are already in his room. His only way of measuring time is to read the records of his cleaning that he will carry out. Really interesting way to frame this, but, you know, Nazu always has interesting ways to frame these type of things. That's kind of part of his style. It makes no difference whether it's an eternity or an instant. An eternity is an instant, and an instant is an eternity. That gives me a little bit of I always think back to this one specific scene in Steins Gate, but it makes me think of this theoretically dream sequence that happens in the first, I want to say it's around like episode 6 or something, but I don't know. Anyways, therefore he does not know how rare this miracle is. He doesn't know whether it was the first time or a thousandth time he was summoned since he gained this hope. All he has is this unordered knowledge. The future, past, and present are all things the heroic spirits don't have.
来客か。邪魔は入らんというから来てやったのだがな。
Oh? The knight in red suddenly gets up. Who would be showing up, assuming, because this is the interlude, so this would be before Lancer, Shirou, and Saber show up. Did his ears hear an intruder? Footsteps echo through the castle that should be silent.
へえ、驚きだね、遠坂。半信半疑だったけど、本当にこんなところにいたんだ。
Huh. The voice echoes. The boy who entered rudely is Shinji Mato. Interesting.
おっと、物騒な真似はなしだぜ、アーチャー。こっちはお前に用はないんだ。お前だって遠坂に用はないんだろ。ならここで殺し合うことはないんじゃない？
Interesting. But if Shinji's here, unfortunately that might mean there's another archer lurking about. Shinji Mato walks over with light steps. He is looking at Rin Tosaka, who is tied to a chair. The girl doesn't say anything and stares at the intruder while being tied up. That must make him pleased. Shinji Mato licks his lips in satisfaction and walks to the girl.
Huh?
Yeah, this is a weird thing for Archer. Shinji Mato glances in annoyance at the knight, who is staring down at him in silence.
何？やるっていうの？本気かよ。お前なんて相手になるわけないじゃんか。
Shinji Mato smiles and returns to the entrance. There stands the golden-haired boy, the eighth servant, Gilgamesh. He himself is a disaster. The golden servant looks at the knight with cool eyes. But within them, the red eyes distorted from his smile only have the intention to murder the enemy in front of him. The knight in red is still silent. It makes no difference whether Shinji Mato appears or the strongest servant in front of him is ready to attack. The knight calmly stares at the uninvited enemies.
ブルってるんだろ、アーチャー。いいんだぜ。別に恥じゃない。あいつはバーサーカーだって難なく始末したサーバントなんだからさ。お前がおじけつくのも当然。
It's very amusing that dude, Shinji's Seiyu is so good. It's great voice acting.
リンが欲しいのか、マトシンジ。
え？ああ、当然じゃないか。そうでもなければこんな城には近寄らないよ。
How do you feel about that, Archer?
そうか。ならばことが済むまで待て。エミやシロを始末した後ならばくれてやる。それまであれは私のものだ。それが聞きぬとあれば仕方がない。不本意だが、ここで死ぬことになるぞ、ギルガメッシュ。
Interesting. I guess, like, yeah, once you disappear, it's like, well, what happens, happens. So I understand his... And theoretically, if he kills Emiya at this point, he can kind of almost like... It's kind of a weird thing. It is like a weird way of protecting Rin, because assuming he kills Shirou and then he dips out, in a way he's kind of handed Rin off to Saber, and then at that point, hope for the best, because obviously he would Bro would want Saber and Rin to win the Holy Grail War, but it really isn't his business. But I'm sure that is Archer's preference. The Knight in Red declares, still staring at the Golden Servant.
愉快だな。どうけ。
Doke. Was that statement itself good enough reason for the man to kill Archer? The Golden Servant identifies the Knight in Red in front of him as a target he must kill.
待て、ギルガメッシュ。早まるなよ。ことはスマートに行こう。いいじゃん。 くれるってんだからもらっておこう。どうせアーチャーはマスターがいないんだ。何度も裏切ったこいつと契約するマスターなんていないんだしさ。ほっとけば消えるんだろ。遠坂はその後でもらえばいい。
Yeah, I wonder how Gilgamesh feels about that, because he's been slighted by Archer, so it's interesting to go that route. Shinji Mato stares at the Red Knight, still smiling. His eyes look as if he's enjoying the fate of one who is about to disappear soon.
賢明だな、マトシンジ。その判断は的確だ。君はある意味、誰よりもマスターにふさわしい。
なんだ、あんた見どころあるじゃん。もったいない。それなら僕のところに来てれば契約してやったのに。
Stepping away from the knight in red, Shinji Mato claps his hands happily.
けど悪いね。もう他のサーバントなんていらないんだ。残念だけどさ。おとなしく消えちゃってよ、あんた。
Yeah, in his mind that's not unfortunate. As long as he gets Shirou, he's satisfied.
言われるまでもない。それで結局どうするのだ。ここで私と戦うか、私が消え去るのを待つのか。
ああ、待ってやるよ。エミヤを始末するまで遠坂は僕たちが守ってやろうじゃないか。
Is it setting up a Lancer and Saber versus Gilgamesh fight while we get Emiya versus Archer? Because that would be sick if that's what we're setting up here.
けどそうだな。となるとあれはもう僕のだろ。なら何をしても構わないと思わない？
Oh, Jesus. That thing is mine already is crazy. And then, yeah. Yeah, Shinji. You're a sussy baka. He looks at the knight in red and Rin Tosaka with snake-like eyes. Those words test the loyalty of the knight in red. To that...
傷をつけるなというのがエミやシロとの契約だが、それは夜明けとともに消える。刻限が来たのなら、あとは好きにするがいい。
Interesting. The knight in red answers in a motionless voice. Lovely.
聞いたかよ、遠坂。お前のサーバント、マスターを売っ払うってさ。
He's not her servant. Sneering laughter echoes through the dingy room. Red Knight leaves the room as if he has no interest. He passes by Gilgamesh. He goes into the hallway, ignoring the red eyes that look at him, amused. At that moment...
フェイカ
Oh! King of Heroes says, mocking him. Ho ho ho! Cause he can tell that he's holding back his emotions for his one true objective. I mean, of all people, we know Shirou is very emotional, so... Alright, that was a cool interlude. Interesting that Shinji is getting in the mix here. That makes this a little more probable of being an actual endgame, because if we get, like, Lancer and Saber and potentially Rin versus Gilgamesh and Shinji, while also having Shirou versus Archer, that actually could constitute more of an endgame here. Because the Gilgamesh problem was the main reason why this didn't feel like an endgame before, but he's around. Dawn approaches. Our conversation dies off as we head deeper into the woods, and the silence weighs heavily. Once I'm through the forest, I, Shirou Emiya, will settle the score with that man. I have no chance of victory. My defeat is certain. I'm well aware that I'll be slaughtered as soon as we cross swords. I don't feel fear, but not out of defiance or determination. I might die, but he's long dead. The moment I realized this, I knew that I was no different. There's no longer any point in feeling gloomy about my own death. Awesome castle, by the way. I passed the castle gate. Saber's expression is dark. She knows what sort of fight awaits me. She's troubled by me and by him. No matter who lives or falls, the same man will disappear. She's in anguish, unsure whether she should put a stop to this absurd duel. She glances skyward, her eyes look severe, perhaps angry that such a vain battle must be fought. We come to a great ruined hall. Morning mist shrouds the ground to be our mutual resting place. That's a crazy line. That goes hard.
随分と遅い到着だな、エミヤ・シロ。
Emiya Shirou. His icy voice rings through the air. Its familiar baritone comes from the second story. The man stands there atop crumbling stairs that culminate in a sunlit plateau. There he is! His crimson cloak seems distant and hazy. But I can see him. Yeah, that's a better shot. I can make out every exact detail of my enemy. We share the same eagle eyes, after all. He is the servant assigned the role of archer. He's a bowman, yet not a bowman. A contradictory person who possesses a vast number of noble phantasms and hurls them out unsparingly. All of his noble phantasms are replicas, and his personal noble phantasm is the ability to create infinite swords. I was the only one who failed to realize his identity. Heroic spirits are summoned from all eras. The past doesn't contain an appropriate hero, then one might be born in the future.
ようやく気づいた。あのペンダントが2つあるはずがない。
そうだ。
Yep.
あれは命を救われたお前が生涯持ち続けたもの。この世に2つとない。遠坂凛の父の形見だ。
Mm-hmm. It's a paradox for two of them to exist. If Emiya Shirou held onto the pendant for the rest of his life, then...
英霊の召喚には必ず触媒が必要となる。
That is so... that is so fucky wucky. Cause like, it hadn't happened yet, but it did because time doesn't, like, they're taken out of like the timeline, basically, the heroic spirits. That's so weird. That is wild.
お前がセイバーを召喚したように、召喚者と英霊にはつながりがなくてはならない。
Yeah, there was a very direct connection as we saw in the Fate route.
遠坂凛には英霊を呼び出すための触媒がなかった。故に、彼女は呼び出したサーバントに何の縁もないと思い込んだ。
Mm-hmm.
だが、偶然で呼び出される英霊などいない。召喚者と英霊には必ず物質的な縁が必要となる。
That's so cool. If that's true, then there's only one explanation. Tosaka didn't have anything to connect herself to Archer, but...
そう。召喚者ではなく、呼び出された英霊そのものが、召喚者に縁のあるものを持っていた場合のみだ。
That's sick. That's so cool. That tiny gem, of which there is only one in the world. Someone saved my life, and I never found out who. But I kept the pendant with me, assuming it must have belonged to my savior. That's the answer. He has Tosaka's pendant, which makes him... Oh, here we go! Yeah, because we've been pussyfooting around it, even though they've, like, said... You know, even though everyone's acknowledged the reality of the situation, we haven't actually said the words yet, even though I had a mental breakdown last time. Here it comes. The heroic spirit, Emiya. My future self. The man standing before me perfected Emiya Shirou's incomplete abilities and achieved my ideals. We all know what they just added. True name, Emiya, in all. That's interesting. It's just Emiya in all caps. Interesting. That's interesting how they frame that. We will learn more about you one day, but just Emiya. The red-clad knight looks down at me from the top of the stairs. There's no sign of anyone else around. Only he and I stand here in this hall.
アーチャー、遠坂はどうした？
あの小娘なら城のどこかに置いてきたが、気に病むのなら急げ。お前が来るのが遅いのでな、先に来た的を信じにくれてやったところだ。
だと。
お前との約束は守っている。俺は手出しはせん。
Hmm.
他の人間が彼女に何をしようが、俺には関わりのないことだ。
Yeah, you don't want to know what Shinji would potentially do to her. None of it's good.
まあ、結果は見えているがな。的真司は遠坂凛に情欲と敵害を抱いている。あれに凛を預ければどうなるかは考えるまでもない。凛に挑発された小僧は我慢できずに口火を切り、今頃は妙なことになっているかもしれんぞ。
Sure. That's a way to piss Shirou off real quick. My blood boils. How could he just talk about her like that?
ああ、焦るな、坊主。あのお嬢ちゃんなら俺に任せろ。何？すぐに助け出してやる。
We'll see.
ランサ
マスターからの命令だな。元から俺はあのお嬢ちゃんを死なせないために協力したわけだ。
Interesting.
いや、これが思いのほか居心地よくてな。昨日のは悪くなかった。自分の仕事を気に入れるってのは俺にとっては珍しい。
Okay. With that flippant remark, Lancer ignores Archer and heads for the western terrace.
ー、ランサー。
気にするな。これはあくまで俺の趣味だ。
I'm just doing this as a hobby is crazy.
ま、今までいけすかねえ命令ばっかりだったからな。この命令は最後まで守り抜く。そっちはそっちで自分の面倒だけ見てやがれ。
Here we go.
あ、遠坂を頼む。
Cool. We still don't know, I don't know, like, we still don't know the whereabouts of Saber. I assume she's still with us then, but we haven't acknowledged her yet. We only just acknowledged Lancer now. Lancer departs with an eye, but then he stops and turns as if remembering something.
おい、何してんだセイバー。お前も来るんだよ。
I mean, Rin is your master. Saber looks pained.
いいえ、私はここに残ります、ランサー。
Her response isn't what you'd expect from a servant.
本気か？今のマスターはお嬢ちゃんだろ？サーバントが守るべきはマスターだけのはずだが。
分かっています。ですが、それでも私はここに残りたい。私はこの戦いを見守らなければ。
I must bear witness to this battle. That's such a religious framing for this, which makes a lot of sense. And truly, so as I pray.
そうかよ。なら好きにしな。
Lancer disappears. The blue-clad spearman easily leaps up to the second-story terrace and disappears down the hallway without another glance. Archer doesn't make any move to stop him. Tosaka seems to have outlived her usefulness to him. I step forward through the rubble. I'm headed for the middle of the hall at the bottom of the stairs. Saber stays where she is. She intends to watch us fight and keeps her emotions in check.
手出しはしないか。それはありがたい。ここまで来てセイバーに邪魔をされるようでは、リンと契約を切った意味がないからな。
Yeah. I can hear her hesitate. She inhales slightly and answers the man standing at the top of the stairs.
ええ、私は手出しをしません。何があろうと、あなたとシロの戦いの邪魔はしない。
それは結構。ならば安心して、小僧を始末できるというものだ。
This is gonna be interesting. Holy shit.
はい。ですが、その代わりに一つだけ答えてほしい。アーチャー。なぜ
も何もないだろう。そいつが俺を認められないように、俺もそいつを認められないだけだよ。
そんなはずはない。あなたはシローだ。エミやシローという人物の理想、 英雄となった姿があなたではないのですか？ならどうしてこんな自分を殺すような真似をするのです？
なぜそう思う？未熟だった頃のエミヤ四郎と、エミヤと呼ばれる英雄となった俺は別の存在だ。そうでなければ同時に存在などできないが。
That's interesting. That's an interesting framing.
それはあなたがサーバントになったからでしょ。時間軸にとらわれない指
Yeah.
導者になったのなら、自身が
Yep.
生きた時代に呼ばれることもあると聞きます。
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could try to separate the two all you want, but
あなたはシローだ。シローがずっと思い描いて、その努力が叶った姿があなたのはずだ。なのに、どうして？
why did you turn out so differently? I can hear her anguished question even if she doesn't say the words out loud, and I'm sure Archer can as well. Oh! Oh, that's so cool! He starts down the stairs without answering. He can't answer. If he could, then we wouldn't be here trying to settle things by force.
あーちゃん、
Saber challenges him without actually stepping forward.
いいんだセイバー、いいから下がっていてくれ。
Holy shit, this is so cool. With one hand, I gesture for her to move back to the entrance.
ですが、シロー、
気持ちは嬉しいけど話しても無駄だ。あいつは初めから俺を殺すことだけが目的だったんだから。
Shiro's not wrong, though. Saber bites her lip in distress. She looks at me and then at Archer as he descends the stairs to the hall.
なぜなのです、アーチャー。私にはわからない。守護者とは死後、英霊となって人間を守るものと聞いた。その英霊がなぜ自分自身を殺そうなどと考えるのか。
守護者だと？
Archer stops and looks down at Saber emotionlessly. The word seems to have struck a nerve with him. Oh.
違うよセイバー。守護者は人間を守るものではない。あれはただの掃除屋だ。俺が望んでいた英雄などでは断じてない。
Oh, it's wild to hear him talking like that, just fully out in the open about his past and who he once was. His voice changes. Hatred and scorn tinge his dispassionate tone.
アーチャー、
俺は確かに英雄になった。エミヤ四郎という男が望んでいたように。
Yeah, he had no
正義の
regrets in
味
his
方になっ
life.
たんだ。
I mean, we've learned about how he ended his life, how it went, more or less, but he had no regrets in life. He has regrets in death. A hero of justice. Someone who always does the right thing and doesn't let anyone get hurt. The kind of person Emi Shirou has always wanted to be, who doesn't retreat from any disaster and saves everyone equally. Is he saying that he achieved that ideal?
アーチャー。
ああ、確かにいくらかの人間を救ってきたさ。自分にできる範囲で多くの理想を叶えてきたし、世界の危機とやらを救ったこともあったよ。
Interesting.
英雄と遠い昔から憧れていた地位にさえ、ついにはたどり着いたこともある。
英雄にたどり着いた。なら、シローは報われたのですね。少なくともここにいるあなたは、エミやシローの理想を叶えられたのでしょう。
At the very least, that is technically true, but that's the furthest thing from how Archer likes to. I mean, he would view it that way, but that's exactly why he wants to kill him.
ならあなたには悔いなどないはずだ。シローはちゃんとその理想を叶えたのだから。
Oh man, this is so good. Her verbal challenge doesn't have much force behind it. She already knows. She's aware that her words are merely wishful thinking. Yeah. And she understands a lot from her own perspective, but she understands kind of the nuance of Archer's perspective and his unique existence. It's easy to understand where he's coming from and to understand his point of view here.
理想を叶えたか。確かに 俺は理想通りの正義の味方とやらになったさ。
That's an interesting way to put it too. It's like
だがその果てに得たものは後悔だけだった。残ったものは死だけだったからな。
is it really worth it in the end?
殺して殺して殺し尽くした。己の理想を貫くために多くの人間を殺して、無関係な人間の命なぞどうでもよくなるくらい殺して、殺した人間の数千倍の人々を救ったよ。
Saber stares up at Archer in shock. Yeah, you two are the same. We've talked about this with Saber and Shirou. Like, it all comes now more than ever. That is true. With the epiphany that Archer is Shirou, Saber and Archer really are the same. It's crazy. The only real reasonable person in this whole fucking story is Rin. This is why Rin's the best, because she has the willingness to be a selfish bitch, and that's what makes her awesome and what makes her human, right? Like, Saber and Shirou in a lot of ways aren't even human. And I know there's the framing of, like, yeah, as a mage you kind of throw away your humanity in a sense, but Rin really is the human one of the group, and that's one of the many reasons why she's probably my favorite character, although Archer has done everything in his power to take that spot from Rin. You know, and obviously I love Saber, and, you know, Shirou's super interesting, and obviously that's a bit of a mindfuck in and of itself, the whole Shirou Archer thing, and when I even think about my favorite characters in this fucking series. Almost as if she's looking into a mirror. Yeah, there you go. Exactly what I was saying. They're the same fucking person.
そう。そんなことを何度繰り返したかわからないんだ。セイバー。俺は求められれば何度でも戦ったし、争いがあるとしてば、死をとして戦った。何度も何度も。思い出せないほど何度もだ。
うん。
だって仕方がないだろう。何を救おうと救われない人間というものは出てきてしまう。何度戦いを終わらせようと新しい戦いは生み出される。
Yep.
そんなものがある限り正義の味方っていうのはあり続けるしかないんだから。
This is kind of like an interesting narrative thing that a lot of stories do. The idea that the battle never truly ends, and there will always be, you know, heroes and villains to fight these battles through all eternity, and that's kind of just like the way the world works. That, like, even if you do save everyone, there's always going to be another conflict, right? And then that can get into the existential kind of crisis of, like, what's the point of saving people? There's always going to be another conflict. There's always going to be another enemy. There's always going to be another life-threatening situation, right? And it's kind of it's a really interesting kind of thing to explore in fiction, that a lot of stories do explore this kind of crisis of belief and confidence from heroes' perspectives. I wonder who his lecture is directed at. The knight describes his past as he slowly descends the stairs.
だから殺したよ。
Terrifying.
一人を救うために何十という人間の願いを踏みにじってきた。踏みにじった相手を救うためにより多くの人間をないがしろにした。
That's crazy.
何十という人間の救いを殺して目に見えるものだけの救いを生かしてより多くの願いを殺してきた。今度こそ終わりだと、今度こそ誰も悲しまないだろうとつまらない意地を張り続けた。
In my pathetic hubris, I told myself each time that it would be the last time, and no one else would be sad anymore. Like, when I talk about, like this really is, like, one of the greatest recontextualizations of a character of all time. Like, again, it's the journey that Emiya as a character goes on that makes this moment and this reveal and everything about this worth so much, right? And like, I can't believe that like the Archer reveal actually lived up to the hype. It's crazy. And it is one of those things that even though I don't, like, in hindsight, it feels like this was the only thing it ever could have been, right? Because, like, what the fuck else would have lived up to that hype? Oh, it's so good.
だが、終わることなどなかった。生きている限り、争いはどこに行っても目についた。キリがなかった。何も争いのない世界なんてものを夢見ていたわけじゃない。ただ俺はせめて自分が死ぬ限りの世界。
Yeah. It was your world.
涙して欲しくなかっただけなのにな。
You dreamed of a world of without conflict in your reality, so to speak. Without a doubt, that was my very own dream.
一人を救えばそこから視野は広がってしまうんだ。一人の次は10人、10人の次は100人、100人の次は、
Yep.
さて何人だったか。そこでようやく悟ったよ。エミヤ・シロウという男が抱いていたものは
So
都合
good.
のいい理想論だったのだと。
So good. The way that like Fate Stay Night tackles like the ideas of like philosophical beliefs, idealism, like all this stuff has always been just immaculate, but like this feels like the culmination of so much of what we've gotten with Emiya, which also scares me even more. Everything about Unlimited Blade Works keeps making me think, why the fuck is there another route after this? And it just scares me. And I just want to, like, take, like, a really, really, really long break from this before I do the last route. And it's like, but then I'm, like, literally never going to finish this goddamn game. But it's like, I had such an emotional resonance with, like, the end game of the Fate route. And then this has just been, like, a whole nother out-of-body experience. Like, less emotional, like, in the sense of, like, I'm crying and stuff, but more just, like, I don't even know how to describe how this makes me feel.
それはなぜ？
分かりきったことを聞くなせい。
Yep.
君ならば何度も経験したことだろう。すべての人間を救うことはできない。国を救うためにほんの少しの人間を見殺しにするなんていうのは日常茶飯事だっただろう。
Yep. The Red Knight's words stunned Saber into silence, sapping her of the will to disagree. They must reflect Saber's inner darkness too.
そう。席は限られている。幸福という椅子は常に全体の数より少なめでしか用意されない。
That's a really good way to put it. Kind of a reference to the Knights of the Round Table there.
その場にいる全員を救うことなどできないから、結局誰かが犠牲になる。それを被害を最小限に抑えるために、いずれこぼれる人間を速やかに1秒でも早くこの手で切り落とした。
Jesus.
それが英雄と、その男が理想と信じる正義の味方の取るべき行動だ。
That's brutal. A wish for no one to be sad. An ideal to save as many people as possible. If someone holds both of these ideas, then there's only one path to take once they contradict each other. A hero of justice can only save the people he's decided to save. If trying to save everyone means saving nobody, then saving as many people as you can with the minimum sacrifice is the right choice.
多くの人間を救うというのが正義の味方だろ。だから殺した。誰も死なさないようにと願ったまま 大勢のために一人には死んでもらった。
God, it's so good.
誰も悲しまないようにと口にして、その陰で何人かの人間には絶望を抱かせた。
Ah, he said the forbidden Z word. Despair.
そのうちそれにも慣れてきてね。理想を守るために理想に反し続けた。
And that consumed whatever of Shirou was left, and then all that was left was the man we see before us.
自分が助けようとした人間しか救わず、敵対した者は速やかに皆殺しにした。犠牲になる誰かを容認することで、かつての理想を守り続けた。
That's crazy.
それがこの俺、英雄エミヤの正体だ。そら、そんな男は今のうちに死んだ方が世のためと思わないか？
Holy shit. He's right. A superhero can only save the people he's decided to save. However, who ended up betraying those words in the end?
それは嘘です。たとえそうなったとしても、あなたならばその誰かを自分にして理想を追い続けたのではないですか。
It's so interesting that this is a conversation between Saber and Archer while Shiro's just sitting there. Because like I said, and even the game had just acknowledged it in this very scene, but Saber and Shirou, Saber and Archer, however you want to put it, mirror each other in so many ways. They are two sides of the same coin, but I do believe they are two sides of the same coin. Because for all of their similarities, they do still view things a little bit differently. There is a distinction between the two, and it's a very important distinction, as similar as they are. Archer stops again. For just an instant, a pained frown clouds his face.
あなたは理想に反したのではない。守ったはずの理想に裏切られ、
Yep.
道を見失っただけではないのですか。
Yep. Ah!
そうでなければ、こんな自分を殺すことで罪を償おうなどとは思わない。
Oh, man. And that's the one thing that he doesn't want to accept, because that, in the end, that is still Emiya Shirou that we're looking at right now. It is crazy because you get shots like this and I could see Shirou. Like, I do see it. His sardonic grin disappears. Archer fixes Saber with a cold glare and... breaks into uproarious laughter. I don't know if that's quite how I'd say that sounded, but sure. As if she's just said something hilarious.
いや、これは傑作だ。俺が自分の罪を償う。バカなことを言うなよ、セイバー。償うべき罪などないし、他の誰にもそんな無責任なものを押し付けた覚えはない。
Sure. The Red Knight remains deadly calm. Only his low chuckle reverberates through the hall.
ああ、そうだったよ、セイバー。確かに俺は何度も裏切られ、欺かれた。救ったはずの男に罪をかぶせられたこともある。死ぬ思いで争いを収めてみれば、争いの張本人だと押し付けられて、最後には公主代だ。
Jesus. I was even framed for the crimes of a man whom I saved. I put my life on the line to end a war and ended up in the gallows after they accused me of masterminding the bloodshed. That's crazy.
そうだ。俺に罪があるというのなら、その時点で償っているだろ
う。嘘だ、アーチャー。あなたの最後は。
まあ、そういうことだ。だが、そんなことはどうでもよかった。
Sure.
初めから干渉して欲しかったわけじゃない。
Yep, an outcome where everyone would be happy.
もなかった。俺はただ、 誰もが幸福だという結果だけが欲しかっただけだ。
I could be misremembering, but I feel like Shirou, whether internally or outwardly, has said that exact line. I want to say
だがそれが叶えられたことはない。
that dream would never become a reality.
生前もその死後も。
That's so good. His laughter is gone. Now his words are tinged only with hatred.
守護者とは霊長の存命のみを優先する無職の力だ。力は高きところにありて、人の世が滅亡する可能性が生じれば世に下る。
Sure.
それがただの奴隷であることは知っていた。
Sure. I mean, it's...
死後、己が存在を守護者に預けた者は輪廻の枠から外れ、無と同意になるのだと。それでも誰かを救えるのならそれでいい。
That's all you ever wanted.
かつてのエミやシローはその誓いを守れなかった。なら守護者となって人間の滅亡とやらを食い止める一端になるのならそれでいいと思ったのだ。だが実際は違う。守護者は人など救わない。
Even this idealistic concept was tainted over time for Archer.
守護者がすることはただの掃除だ。すでに起きてしまったこと、作られてしまった人間の業をその力で無にするだけの存在だった。それは人を救うのではなく、世界に害を与えるであろう人々を善悪の区別なくなくすだけ。絶望に嘆く人々を救うのではなく、絶望と無関係に生を謳歌する部外者を救うために、絶望する人々を排除するだけの殺戮者。
Like I said, it's such an interesting perspective on the whole idea of guardians in this universe, in this world. And like, I love how it's so easy to frame something as one thing, but then, you know, you look at it from another perspective and it's just as easy to understand where he's coming from.
馬鹿げた話だ。それが今までの俺と何が違う。
It's not different at all. In fact, it only created more Zetsubo. He couldn't make his dream come true on his own, so he devoted himself to a greater power. And he still ended up in the same place. He thought that a higher power might be able to grant his wish, but it was just a larger version of what he'd already been doing.
アーチャー、あなたはずっとそんなことを。
それも慣れたよ。人間は繰り返す。どんな時代でも強者が弱者を奪い尽くすのだ。そして、
Yeah.
それが最も効率のいい繁栄だと思い知らされた。
Unfortunately, that is true.
ああ、何度も見てきた。意味のない殺戮も、意味のない平等も、意味のない幸福も。
Meaningless slaughter, pointless equality, and worthless happiness is a crazy line.
俺自身が拒んでも見せられた。守護者となった俺にはもはや自分の意志などない。ただ人間の意志によって生み出され、人間が作ってしまった罪の後始末をさせられるだけだったからな。
Unbelievable. That's the conclusion he arrived at. An existence that erases the despair other humans make. Guardians don't save anyone, they just erase the existence of people who aren't saved. Over and over, whenever they see humans do something that causes their own destruction, they show up and burn it all. Burn it all. Oh my god, that's so good. That's so good because that's full circle to how this all started, which, god, I can't wait to watch Fate Zero. One day. The man became a hero thinking he could save as many people as possible, But in the end, that wish never came true.
そうだ。それは違う。俺が望んだものはそんなことではなかった。俺はそんなもののために守護者になどなったのではない。
The rage in his voice is probably directed at himself. The man that stands before us is a worn-down wreck. The hero Emiya was perpetually shown the ugliness of the people he wanted to save. In the end, he felt hatred. Hatred at his past self for valuing the humans who just kept taking from each other.
俺は人間の後始末など真っ平だ。だが守護者となった以上、この輪から抜け出す術はない。そう。ただ一つの例外を除いて。
Theoretically, prevent yourself from ever becoming a guardian in the first place. His cold eyes gleam with unshakable bloodlust. You aren't looking at Saber. Archer's sole objective is to erase himself. However, ever since he died, he can't erase the original Emiya that exists in a place outside of the time axis. It's impossible to erase someone who's become a guardian. Guardians are of the void. There's no point in killing someone who doesn't exist on this world's axis. However, if it were possible, there would only be one way. If he were to kill himself before he became a hero, then that hero would never be born. Like I said, I like how they frame it, because it's like, if it were possible, this would be the way, because nobody knows what would happen in this scenario. It's fully possible he would still exist, but it's also fully possible he wouldn't exist. We just don't know. Therefore...
シロをここで殺すというのですか。他でもない。あなた自身の手によって。
That is the idea.
そうだ。その機会だけを待ち続けた。果てしなくゼロに近い確率だ。だが、それにかけた。そう思わなければ自身を許容できなかった。ただその時だけを希望にして、俺は守護者などというものを続けてきた。
それは無駄です、アーチャー。あなたはすでに守護者として存在しているのでしょう。ならもう遅い。今になって英雄となる前のエミやシロを消滅させたところで、あなた自身は消えはしない。
That is my gut instinct of how that would go down, but in the end, can Saber prove that?
そうかもしれん。だが、可能性のない話ではあるまい。
Yeah.
過去の改ざんだけでは通じないだろうが、それが自身の手によるものならば、矛盾は大きくなる。歪みが大きければ、あるいは、ここでエミヤという英雄は消滅する。
That's really interesting. The paradox might become too large that the hero Emiya might simply cease to exist.
それにな、セイバー。俺はこの時だけを待って守護者を続けてきたのだ。今さら結果など求めていない。
Sure. Makes all the sense in the world to me.
これはただの八つ当たりだ。くだらぬ理想の果てに道化となり果てる。エミヤシロという小僧へのな。
And then the Red Knight steps into the same hall that I'm in. Oh my god. That scene was incredible, and I love that it was all just Saber and Archer talking to each other. And Shirou was quiet throughout that. But man, that was fantastic. Oh my god. Only he and I stand amid the rubble. No obstacles separate us. Our reasons for being here are simple. He wants to kill me, and I can't stand him, so I'm gonna kick his ass. Fair enough. I step into the center of the hall. A few more steps, and there will be no going back. Before that...
アーチャー、お前、後悔してるのか?
There's the question. There's one question I need to ask him.
無論だ。俺、いや、 お前は正義の味方になどなるべきではなかった。
He spits the words out like venom. That's the last push I need. It's like, you're not me. Maybe in one world I become you, but you're not me.
そうか。それじゃあ、やっぱり俺たちは別人だ。
Yep.
何？
Yep.
俺は後悔なんてしないぞ。どんなことになったって後悔だけはしない。だから絶対にお前のことも認めない。
Get his fucking ass, Shirou. Oh my god. Oh, I'm getting emotional. Here we
お
go.
前が俺の理想だって言うなら、そんな間違った理想は俺自身の手で叩き出す。
Based. That's how I've lived. I've come this far believing that it was right, even if that is totally flawed and bullshit and the furthest thing from what reality. It's still, in this moment, it's very respectable. It probably is mostly pride, like he said. I've lost more than I've gained, but still, Emiya Shirou won't back down, not even for what he's lost. I advance. Oh! I advance. That's such a simple line, but something about it is just perfect. A circuit in the back of my mind has already begun to sketch a blueprint.
その考えがそもそもの元凶なのだ。お前もいずれ俺に追いつく時が来る。
Perhaps. Perhaps not.
来ない。そんなもん絶対に来るもんか。
Oh my goodness.
はあ、それはつまりその前にここで俺に殺されるということか。
I step towards my enemy. We're close enough to cross swords now. Neither of us are armed. We're going to go at it barehanded. Emiya Shirou isn't a swordsman. We make swords, so...
分かっているようだな。俺と戦うということは牽制を競い合うということだと。
Sure. His hands grip a pair of swords. That night, that simple pair of blades that took my breath away at Ryoto Temple, they were rare masterworks forged by a famous smith at the cost of his wife's life.
トレース。
Interesting. I initiate my prepared blueprint and replicate the swords just by visualizing them. They're so flawed. My swords, which I thought were perfect, are terribly vague compared to his. My inferior imagination has produced a degraded delusion. Oh, what? That's a great line, too. Oh, that almost... I mean, that does feel like an Azu line, but, like, I don't know. That kind of reminds me of another goat. Most likely, they'll shatter against his swords. I take another step forward. A deliberate, firm step. Rubble crumbles beneath my feet. The sound seems to declare a start to the duel.
俺の牽制についてこれるか。わずかでも精度を落とせばそれがお前の死に際になろう。
Our swords confront each other. An identical pair of weapons, 4 blades overlap as if attracted by magnetic force and clash. Are we about to get an interlude? Fuck! I mean, I am interested in the Lancer interlude, but Jesus Christ, guys. He easily tracks his target down. Lancer may seem as if he specializes in combat, but he's actually quite skilled at magecraft. He learned to master more than just Gaebolg in that arcane fortress called the Land of Shadows. He is a hero because he learned the 18 primordial runes. Interesting. Of course, he rarely flaunts his magical skills because he prefers to fight with a spear rather than magecraft. Today is one of those rare occasions.
よし、当たりか。
He dropped something which had been running on the ground. A rock inscribed with the Berkano rune returns to being a mundane pebble, its task complete.
誰だお前。
Boy he hasn't seen before stands up in a panic. The shrill voice sounds familiar. Lancer retracts that thought and realizes who this is.
ライダーのマスターじゃねえか。なんだ、とっくの昔にくたばったもんと。
Yeah, it's not quite the case anymore. And Lancer's master is playing a weird game in this route. He breaks off. Rin Tosaka is behind the boy. She's tied to a chair. That's fine. She's being held captive, so that makes sense. But several details stand out. First, her chair is tipped over. Since Rin Tosaka is tied to the chair, she's on the ground too. There's sand in her long black hair and something red around her mouth. She probably cut her lip. It's slight, but one can make out bruising around her lips.
お前ランサーか。なんだよ、誰に断ってここに来たんだ。話が違うぞ。お前は。
Oh, did he just stab him? Oh, he just beat his ass. Okay. A casual fist plants into Shinji Mato's cheek. Lancer's trivial backhand sends the boy crashing into a wall. Nice.
おお、ああ、悪いなガキ。口より先に手が出ちまった。
God damn it, Lancer. He looks unconscious, but not dead. Granted, if Tosaka Rin's face had been a little paler and her clothes more disheveled, it wouldn't have ended with just a knockout. He would have paid a heavy price. Probably would have gotten there if you didn't show up when you did. To be clear, Lancer doesn't care about the treatment of prisoners, but he doesn't like it when someone else steals his prey. Interesting. Of course, enemies he kills and women he's fond of both count as his prey. Fair enough. Rin Tosaka wonders aloud from her bound position. Her voice sounds sleepy, as if she was unconscious.
いや、朝だぜ。起きろ、ぐうたら。
Lancer approaches her with an out-of-place greeting.
なんでここアインツベルンの城よ。
Yeah, a lot of bullshit's gone down.
承知している。ああ、いいから動くな。今その手枷を切ってやる。その後は好きにしろ。広間に行ってバカどもの喧嘩を止めるなり、
Yeah.
裏口から帰るのも自由だ。
Yeah, if anyone's gonna pull it off, it will be Rin. His crimson spear materializes in a whirl of air.
それは助かるけど。ランサー、後ろ。
Gilgamesh? Oh. Rin's warning makes him turn. Someone even he didn't expect stands there, in the corner of the room. With firm footsteps, a man walks past where Shinji Mato pancaked into the wall. Oh!
そこまでだランサー。協力しろとは言ったが、
Oh!
入りしろとは言わなかったぞ。
Oh my god! Goat's here! Oh, the goat's here! Oh my god, he actually showed up. He actually revealed himself. Oh my god. You freaking... Yeah, the guy that totally died. Totally. Yeah, okay, Ryder. Or not Ryder, sorry, Caster. Jesus Christ. I was mixing up my purple-haired goddesses. Holy shit. Oh my god, it is so good to see you, you tall-ass motherfucker. Oh my god, I love you so much. My king, my goat is here. Dude, this really might actually be the endgame. He was kind of the one person I feel like that was missing in all this. Kirei Kotomine, yes, Kotomine Kirei, who they thought Caster killed. Rin yelps in surprise. Lancer glares suspiciously at the priest.
おい、いつから終始買いしやがったんだお前。俺のマスターは表には出てこないのが心情だったんじゃなかったか？
Yep.
変えるような収支などない。そういうお前こそ命令違反だぞランサー。アーチャーの始末を命じたはずだが、潜んじたか？
あれは放っといても自滅する。その前にやり残した仕事を片付けに来たんだが、お前がここにいるということは、そこのガキはお前の差し金か？
人聞きが悪いな。彼とは協力関係だ。聖杯を手に入れるため、共に認め合った仲だが。
Shinji Mato groans underneath the rubble. The priest doesn't even spare him a glance.
そう。あんたがそう簡単にくたばるわけないと思ったけど。
Yep.
しぶとく生きてるばかりか。 裏でこそこそ手を回してたのね。
Because of fucking course he's the fucking goat.
悪趣味ここに極まるっていうか、人畜無害な神事を懐柔してどうしようっていうのよ。
That's the exact reason why, because he's harmless.
なるほど。あれを人畜無害と取るか。この状況においてもお前は遠坂凛らしい。もう少し出来の悪い弟子ならば惜しむこともないのだが。
Interesting. The priest chuckles. His expression is that of a priest blessing someone on their deathbed. A chill runs down Rin's back. She realizes what her fate is. The priest looks down at his apprentice of 10 years with a saintly smile.
待てよ、琴峰。その女をどうするつもりだ。教え子を助けたいと言ったお前の言葉は嘘だったのか。
Lancer stands between his master and the girl, glaring.
嘘なものか。彼女はここまで育てた大切な駒だ。10年にわたり欺き続けたのだから、そう簡単にリタイアされてはつまらん。
Jesus. That's a crazy line. She's an important pawn who I've worked hard to nurture. I can hardly retire her now after deceiving her for the last decade. God damn it, dude. Dude, Kirei is the GOAT. Like, I just don't know what else to say. When talking about the best characters in this series, Kirei I need to bring him up more, because he's such a GOAT.
ゆえに、お前に彼女の警護を任せたのだ。わずか2日ばかりの延命だったが。
What the fuck?
親心としては十分すぎるのではない。
Parental affection is crazy. The priest walks past Lancer to look at the girl sprawled on the floor. Rin glares up at her former mentor.
SS 神父、あんたならやりかねないと思ったけど、本当にマスターだったなんてね。監督役のくせにゲームに参加するなんて、反則もいいところじゃない。
So good.
その割には落ち着いているな、リン。やはり気づいてはいたのか。
She is a genius after
当
all.
然でしょ。自分のサーバントを見せなかったのも、あんたを疑ってたからだもの。けどね、まさか初めっから騙されてるとは思わなかったわ。
That's crazy.
初めから。
Priest frowns. It seems that he wasn't expecting her to say that.
何よ。文句あるっていうの？キレ。
いや、初めからというが、それはどのあたりを指している？
Yeah, how far back are we going here? His lips twist into a sneer. The priest gazes down with a look of true elation. He's getting off on this. He's so fucking thrilled about this.
キレ、あんた。
それは今回の聖杯戦争が始まってからか。
More like the end of the last one.
それとも、
Yep.
お前が言う
Yep.
初めからとは。
Yep.
全
Oops. Then everything falls into place. Rin's face goes pale and she stares up at the man who mentored her for 10 years with an incredulous look. He's the reason Daddy's dead.
そう。
Yep!
殺したのはあんただったんだ。
Yep! That's crazy, by the way.
当然だろう。恩師であったからな。騙し討ちはたやすかった。
What the fuck? There's a grinding noise. The girl is staring at the ground, gritting her teeth in anguish.
行き場に迷えクソ神父。断言してやるけど、あんたに居場所なんてないんだからね。地獄だってあんたみたいなのは願い下げで、煉獄だって他の連中がずぶとくなる点でたらい回しよ。
Deserved. Fuck off and die, you damn priest. Even hell is too good for you. I hope everyone else beats the shit out of you forever in limbo. That's great.
あんたみたいな生き損ないはね、性に合わない天国あたりで針のむしろにくるまってろっての。
That's crazy. In a rage, she hurls abuse after abuse at him. That's... Of course, the priest is unbothered by such trifles. If anything, he's enjoying it. Someone else is taken aback by the girl's sudden fit, however. Shinji has never imagined that Rin could bear such emotion even in his dreams. Yeah, because despite being an absolute dickhead asshole, you are not the fucking sinister goat that Kirei is. So you could never elicit those emotions out of Rin like Kirei can.
琴峰、遠坂は僕がもらったんだって知ってるだろう。あいつに用があるのは僕だけだ。あんたはただ教会でこっちの守備を待ってればいいんだよ。
いや、用ならばある。彼女にはここで聖杯になってもらわねばならないからな。
What the fuck? Well, that's a twist. Shinji doesn't understand what the priest is saying. Only the priest and the girl he intends to sacrifice do.
アーチャーとセーバーが消えればいい加減頃合いだ。いらぬ抵抗され、鮮度を落とされて
Her
も
freshness?
ことは迅速に済ませてしまおう。
The priest steps away from the girl. Only Lancer is in front of Rin now, armed with his spear.
琴峰、貴様。
I know, he is the worst.
そのゴミを始末しろ、ランサー。
Jesus.
器に心臓はいらん。
Jesus! Dude, it's crazy, dude. Everyone, you know, every vessel for the Holy Grail, it's always gonna be someone we care about. Only Shinji reacts to those words. Rin just glares at the priest, gnashing her teeth. The priest's smile already told her that she is going to die here. She knows that no help is coming and that no one would hear her even if she begged for help. So she absolutely refuses to snivel. It's the only form of resistance she can offer, and it represents her defiance. She won't give up until the very end. Help might still come at the last possible second, or a miracle might even occur, like something that destroys the entire room, leaving only her intact.
ありえない話だけど。
She won't give up, but she knows what is and isn't possible. That's why she isn't very scared. There's just one thing she's worried about. It's awkward to imagine what face he'll make when he comes to save her after she's dead. She doesn't want to make him cry. It pisses her off thinking that she'll make him cry, and she doesn't know how to apologize for it. Of course, she can't apologize if she's dead, but she still doesn't want him to cry.
ごめん、レミヤ君。私、先にリタイアする。
That's crazy. So she apologizes now, while she still can. It doesn't matter, but at least makes her feel more at ease. Yeah, that makes sense.
どうしたランサー。相手は少女だ。貫くのはたやすかろう。
Yeah, we know Gaybolg never misses. The priest has no mercy. However,
お断りだ。今回のは従えねえ。俺にやらせたかったら、その霊樹でも使うんだな。
yeah, he is pissed. Lancer answers Rin's enemy with defiance.
何？
The priest narrows his eyes. Master and servant glare daggers at each other, and the temperature in the room seems to drop.
そうか。仕方あるまい。自分でできることに霊樹を消費するわけにはいかんのだが。
The priest lifts his left arm. He activates the command spells inscribed on it.
では命じよう。自害しろランサー。
Yo, that's crazy! Lancer coughs blood, but the red droplets that dribble from his mouth pale in comparison to the torrent of blood gushing from his chest.
琴峰、貴様。
His murmur can't even be heard. Lancer has stabbed himself through the chest with his own spear, completely destroying his heart. That's crazy!
さらばだ。お前の役目はとうに終わった。
Jesus Christ. And then there were 3. That's crazy. Then there were 3. Saber, Archer, and Archer now. The azure armored spearman collapses to the floor. Pooling scarlet seeps into the floor. Lancer shows no sign of getting up. I love how, like, Shinji's all fucked up by, like, what the fuck was that? And Kyrie's just like, yeah, whatever. Who gives a shit? Dude, Kyrie's so good. He has fallen by his own spear on his master's orders. The priest moves. He approaches Rin with easygoing steps and takes a knee next to her. He reaches out with a hand to the bound girl's chest as if to pluck her heart out.
琴峰、約束が違うじゃないか。遠坂は僕にくれるって言っただろう。
The priest glances at Shinji without answering.
ダメだ。遠坂はダメだ。そいつには借りがいっぱいあるんだから、生きていてくれなくちゃ困る。
Shinji whines his back to Lancer's corpse. You're about to get killed next, too, because if you think Gilgamesh is loyal to you, you're a fucking idiot. Which you are. Yeah. His back to Lancer's corpse, whatever. Yeah. Yeah, and also you should understand that Kirei is not someone you fuck with. If it wasn't obvious by this point. But his protests die off. The boy cowers away from the priest's severe gaze. The priest looks back down at the girl.
最後に何か言い残すことはあるか。遺言ぐらいは聞こう。
A simple concession.
こういう時の私が何を考えているか、あんたなら知ってるはずでしょ。
Damn. Rin answers him in her usual tone.
そうだな。最後まで諦めないのがお前だ、リン。
Yep.
同時に覆らない現実を瞬時に認めるのも
Yep.
お前の素晴らしさだ。
God, I love Rin so much. Oh, these two characters, man.
いいぞ。その矛盾はなかなかに芳醇だ。
That's a crazy way to say that. He doesn't hesitate. The priest roughly shoves his hand into the girl's chest over where her heart would be. She closes her eyes. Oh. There's a stabbing sound. A heart is pierced and blood spills out. The stone room becomes a tomb for yet another dead body. Oh my god. Oh my god! Did Lancer get him? I had to think about it for a second. I was like, wait a minute. No way. I swear to God, they're gonna... Rin is the one who gasps. The floor is drenched in blood. The dripping comes from somewhere high up. From the floor, Rin looks up to see that's coming from the priest's chest. Fuck yes! Oh, get fucking wrecked, you bitch. Blood rises from his esophagus. The hole in his chest is obviously a fatal wound. And the thing that stabbed him from behind is none other than a cursed spear known especially for piercing. The priest feels no emotion. He simply looks at Lancer behind him, blood running from his mouth.
ランサー、貴様。あいにくだったな、琴峰。この程度でくたばれるんならよ。俺は英雄になんぞなってね。
Based. Lancer's sardonic tone clearly sounds like a bluff. There isn't a hint of vitality in it. Without a heart, his body is already starting to fade. He pulls his spear out of Kotomine, who collapses lifelessly to the ground. Oh, so good. Trained in the arcane and blessed by the divine he might have been, but he was still only human. There was no surviving a thrust to the heart from Lancer's cursed spear.
たく、結局こうなったか、たけ。
Lancer leans his crumbling body against a wall, but it buys him little time. After collapsing once, he's bound to disappear for good. He's lost his heart and his master. The only reason his body is somehow still holding together is because of his legendary tenacity. Can you please free Rin while we're at it so she could kill Shinji? Because Gilgamesh probably doesn't give a shit. I love how Gilgamesh is just like not even around. He's just like doing his own thing while everyone else in this fucking story is dying.
シ ジ
Shinji's cackling brings Rin back to her senses after watching the priest die.
何が聖杯は君のものだ。だよ。役立たずは最後まで役立たずだったな、神父さん。
Shinji kicks the priest's body. Fuck off. He doesn't move at all. Pleased with himself, the boy kicks the priest's face as hard as he can. I will say, there's a small part of me that's like, Kodomine apparently survived getting killed by casters, so there's a small part of me that's making a dry crunching noise. The sound and sensation delight Shinji more than he expected.
けど文句は言わないでおくよ。さっきのことは根に持ってないし、死んじゃったやつにあれこれ言うのはみっともないしさ。
That's crazy. Shinji snickers. Having lost all reservations, he closes in on Rin eagerly.
待たせたね、遠坂。いろいろ邪魔が入ったけど、これでようやく二人きりだ。残るサーバントもあと3人。ここで君が泣き疲れた頃には、全部型がついてるさ。
What a sick fuck. Jesus Christ. I'm sure it'll all be over by the time you're tired of crying is crazy. Shinji scrambles forward on all fours like a lizard looming over Rin.
けどよかった。お前にはいろいろ用があったんだ。ほんと困るよ、遠坂。簡単に死なれちゃあさ。ここまで我慢してきた僕に申し訳がないってもんだろ。
He's got to be up there, I feel like, for one of the more hated characters in fiction. Like, I feel like everyone must hate Shinji. Like, that's great. He is something else. He's a piece of work, to say the least.
さあ、こびてみろよ、遠坂。お前の態度次第で助けてやらないこともないさ。
Like, not only is he, like, just a sick fuck, but he's also a little bitch. So, like, at least sometimes with characters that are, like, sick in the head, they're at least badass, right? Like Kirei is a perfect example of someone who's fucked up, but he's, like, the GOAT. But Shinji's the perfect combination of being fucked up and being a bitch, and it's like, Jesus Christ.
それに、聖杯はもう僕のものだ。ここで僕のものになるって言うなら、お前にだって分けてやっても。
Yeah, that's never happening in a million years, bro.
呆れた。本当にバカじゃないの？
Got her. I mean, got him. Oh, I mean, Jesus. Well, I did call him a bitch, so. Tied up and on the ground, Rin scoffs like she's talking to a child. Might as well be.
なんだって？
まだ懲りないのかって言ってるのよ、シンジ。あんたは綺麗にいいように使われてただけでしょ。いい？あのサーバントは扱いきれるものじゃない。そんなこと近くにいるんだからあんただって分かってるでしょ。ならいい加減目を覚ましてこんな殺し合いから手を引けっていうの。
He's too much of an arrogant fuckhead, though.
今ならまだ間に合うのはそっちの方よ。死にたくなかったら1秒でも早くここから逃げ出しなさい。
And the fact that, like, despite everything, Rin is trying to help Shinji save his life. It's crazy.
何を言い出すかと思えば、結局は命乞いじゃんか。
Gilgamesh, she just
お前
said.
だよ、遠坂。目障りな琴峰は死んだんだぜ。今さら何が僕の邪魔をするって言うんだ。
Shinji reaches for Rin's body, but the second he does... Oh boy. He goes flying for a second time. Shinji slams into the wall again.
ガキが、そいつはてめえなんかが触れていい女じゃねえ。
Lancer glances at Shinji and lazily walks over to Rin. Based.
何？死に損ないの分際で僕に意見しようっていうの？
The spearman stops. He turns and faces Shinji.
おとなしく寝ていれば苦しまずに死ねたってのにな。さっきといい今度といい、お前楽には殺さないからな。ほら出番だぜ、ギルガメッシュ。こいつカッコつけて死にたいんだってさ。
Shinji raises his voice. He calls for his servant, the mightiest slayer of heroes, and nobody came.
おい、
Yep.
なんだよ。何やってんだよあいつ。
Yeah, bro.
聞こえないのか。早く来いって言ってるだろ。
Yep. His voice rings out. The golden servant does not appear. The bloody blue spearman takes a step towards Shinji.
くそくそくそくそくそ。なんだよお前。死に損ないのくせに何かっこつけてんだよ。消えろよ。目障りだってわかんないのかよこの化け物。
I will say, Shinji's voice actor, his seiyuu, is incredible. He has... I mean, there are so many great voice... There's so much great voice work in this game, but Shinji's is unbelievable. So, I mean, obviously he's, like, the worst, but the voice work is impeccable for Shinji. So, really sells the character. It really sells it, both his sadistic side and his pussy side. Just fantastic work by the seiyuu that plays Shinji. A strike whips out. A single, precise strike, like a flash of light, stabs Shinji in the right shoulder. Yeah, he makes sounds like that. His scream fills the room. Lancer withdraws his spear, looking bored. He puts his face in front of Shinji's.
死に損ないでもな。お前程度なら1000人殺したところで支障はない。
And I 100% believe that. Hugging the wall and cowering away from the spear pointed at him, Shinji leaves the room in a mad scramble. Good. I mean, as much as I do want him to die, he's almost not even worth it. With a heavy sigh, Lancer walks back over to Rin. The wind-cutting spear severs her bindings like tissue paper. Rin thanks him for her freedom. She bows to Lancer, ignoring the filth around them. He seems like the type that lived that way. Suddenly, he collapses limply. Rin can't catch him in time. Lancer's too weak to even lean against the wall now, and he slumps to the ground. His legs won't move. His limbs were already long dead. It seems nonsensical that he managed to stand up, kill his master, and set Rin free. A sudden cough of blood stains his blue armor further. Rin rushes over to the bloody spearman, but he stops her with a hand. Sure. Also fair.
けどそれじゃ
まあ気にするな。こういうのには慣れてる。英雄ってのはな、いつだって理不尽な命令で死ぬものなんだからよ。
I don't know about always, but I would say that is a pretty common theme. His easygoing tone is the same as it always was, or always is. Even seconds away from death, the spearman doesn't change the way he acts. Rin stands up wordlessly. Seeing that, Lancer breathes a sigh of relief, as if a weight was lifted from his shoulders.
Yeah. お互いつまんねえ相棒を引いちまったな。
That's one way to look at it.
そうね。けど、私のはつまんないっていうより、扱いづらいだけだったかな。
Also fair.
違いない。お前のような女が相棒だったら言うことはなかったんだが、あいにく昔からいい女とは縁がなくてな。
Fair enough, bro.
まったく。こればっかりは何度繰り返しても治らねえみてえだ。
Damn. He chuckles dryly, and then...
さあ、早く行け。こいつは俺が連れて行く。お前は、お前の相棒のところに戻らないと。
Hell yeah, dude. Oh my god, Rin's gonna come in on this fight. It's gonna be incredible. The spearman urges the girl to leave. I wonder if she somehow gets through to him, do we switch back our partners to where it's Rin with Saber and Shirou with Shirou? Shirou with Emiya just to keep him around. Because, I mean, we still do have Gilgamesh to deal with. That is still lingering here. Potentially. He prepares Anzu's, the fire rune, in his hand. As soon as he inscribes it on the ground and charges it with all of his remaining magical energy, it'll burn the entire room to cinders. Rin understands his determination and turns to leave.
さよならランサー。短い間だったけど、私もあなたみたいな人は好きよ。
She runs off to the Great Hall.
小娘が。もうちょっと年取って出直してこい。
Wow. A hearty guffaw escapes his lips. Dude, what a badass Lancer. Holy shit, dude. Lancer going out like a king in this route. Flames engulf him. The blaze consumes Lancer and his master's body. Not a trace is left behind. Like a mirage, the crimson spear and azure armor disappear into the flames. Fucking awesome interlude. I assume that's the end of the interlude. Yep. And now we go back to the Shirou Emiya fight. Holy shit. Identical swords clash. Shirou Emiya and the man's attacks are completely equal. Yet each time they clash, my blades break and I'm wounded badly. I'm cut deeply by attacks I should have intercepted. His concho shatters my concho and cuts me open in a sidelong slash. I desperately try to avoid the strike, but I can't. The wound isn't fatal, but it lacerates my muscles and will probably become a critical injury. I bite back the pain and try to knock the enemy's Bakuya out of his right hand. He shatters my weapon and blocks me there too. Our swords and skills should be the same, but I'm facing an insurmountable wall.
お前の感想と俺の感想が同等とでも思ったか？お前はまだまだ基本骨子の想定が甘い。いかにイメージ通りの外見材質を保とうが、構造に利がなければ崩れるのは当然だ。イメージといえど、筋が通ってなければ瓦解する。
Sure. Simultaneously, he unleashes attacks to cut open my flank and my forehead. I immediately project a pair of swords to parry with. I have a headache so bad it nearly blinds me. It isn't from the burden of the projection. It's the headache from before. The hunch I had when I was looking for Tosaka. The fever I get every time I face him. This time is the greatest burden yet, and it's driving my body crazy. Oh, that's cool. I fend off slash after slash. I attempt to cut him down in return. And each time, the red headache burns my eyes. Is it the contradiction of Emiya Shirou and heroic spirit Emiya existing at the same time? Since the moment we recognized each other, my body has felt off every time we made contact. I traced his swordsmanship and even acquired his replication skills. It makes sense that I picked it up quickly. After all, his skills are the most optimal combat techniques for Emiya Shirou, honed over years of experience. How could I not take to them quickly? In trying to catch up to him, I've learned things about my future self that I shouldn't have. Yeah, that's true. My eyes go numb. Each swing of a sword, each shower of sparks creates flashes of light, robbing me of my vision. My skills can't keep up, and each attack dyes my vision red. I wouldn't mind if that's all this was. My body is already torn to shreds. A headache is nothing compared to the feeling of having my stomach torn open with a branding iron. Problem is, the headache won't stop as long as there's something else to draw out from him.
都合5本目だな。投影による複製ではそろそろ限界か。お前の魔力量はよくわかっている。そのざまでは残り3本。わざわざあれを見せてやったというのに、未だそんな勘違いをしているとはな。
Hear hints of disappointment in his taunts. The wrong idea? As if that matters right now. More importantly, I need to do something about this headache. It's coming from you.
ともあれ、至ったところで不可能ではあるか。今のエミやシローが生成できる魔力では足りない。そう。どちらにせよ。
My headache worsens. He brandishes his swords as if to settle this once and for all.
貴様に賞賛など一部たりともなかったということだ。
Damn. And brings his swords down on my head in a crisscross slash. I raise my swords to defend and they shatter. My body goes numb like it's been pounded with a sledgehammer, and the headache burns not just my eyeballs, but my brain. It's flowing in. So, this, right now, is even scarier than the pain. They're his memories. The reason he's changed so much, I'm seeing fragments of the events that Emi Shirou will experience in the future. I don't know if they're right or wrong. I'm sure nobody can be the judge of that. Beautiful things were ugly, and ugly things were beautiful. Objectively, there was nothing repulsive about them. So what made him go astray? Sophistry, misrepresentation, treachery, narcissism. Those make up most of what I saw. I am the bone of my sword. And yet, he didn't seem to mind. He swore oaths and had ideals to uphold. He didn't care what he lost. Even if others betrayed him, he believed that there would be a future as long as he didn't betray himself. If he never complained or even showed himself getting hurt. Steel is my body and fire is my blood. Is Shirou about to do unlimited blade works? Then to the people around him, he was no different from a machine. He was useful to have around, so they used him. They only saw him as a tool. But even a machine can have ideals to uphold, so he accepted being treated as a convenient tool. I have created over 1,000 blades. Unknown to death, nor known to life. It wasn't something he could tell anyone else. The more he failed to save people, and the more people he killed, the less he could profess his ideals. Yeah, I mean, his chant is symbolic of that. Eventually, his only option was to stick to them as resolutely as he could. The result? Emi Shirou failed to uphold the ideals he dreamed of even once, and learned that he was a nuisance sprouting foolish drivel. Have withstood pain to create weapons. Oh, this is so cool. Oh my god! Look, this was his fate. Jesus Christ. That is so cool. Look, this where you'll end up. My heart breaks. Don't feel sorry for him. Don't feel sorry for him. Don't feel sorry for him. Don't feel sorry for him, but my heart feels like it's going to break when I know that this is the path that awaits me. Yet those hands will never hold anything. Oh! Everything you believed in. Everything you believe in. After you were shown that it was all a lie and a fanciful dream, you still... We clash again. This time he comes straight for my heart, not with the dual swords, but some spike-like sword. I retreat to gain some distance. I'm holding a sword I replicated in the spur of the moment. I fight against the nausea. What did I just see? Forget it. Forget you saw anything. I just need to defeat him now. I can't afford to dwell on anything else.
計算違いか。
Yeah, there's the spike-like sword, as he called it.
前世の自分を高齢憑依させることでかつての技術を習得する魔術があると聞くが、俺と打ち合うたびにお前の技術は鍛えられていくようだな。
That's really cool. Panting, I ready myself for his next strike.
となると引き出したものは投影技術だけではあるまい。その顔、今にも発想な最低の面構えからすると
Oh shit.
お前も見たな。
He holds his breath. Don't make me say it. Don't make me remember. If you tell me what I just saw, I...
ならば話は早い。それは全て事実だ。エミヤしろ。
The red cloak flutters. In an instant, he closes the gap and thrusts the spike at me. My weapon is destroyed in one blow. A sword I hastily projected for the first time can't hold up against his weapons. And yet, he throws aside his weapon while I'm unarmed. The next projection is Durandal, said to be the Sword of Conquerors. Yes, that is a famous sword. Oh my god. I skip 4 counts and instantly project a replica of his weapon. Of course, my imitation is broken with 1 attack. I've fallen. I was pushed back and fell backward onto the rubble. And then, I'm surprised. Just that fall was enough to stain the rubble red. Huh? I just never noticed that my body is dead, both inside and outside. Oh my god. It's like the chant, the Unlimited Blade Works chant. Invocation.
そこまでだ。叶わないと知ってなおここに現れる愚かさ。生涯くだらぬ理想にとらわれ、自らの意志を持たなかったまがいもの。それが自身の正体だと理解したか。
Oh my god, this is incredible. Like, I don't even know what to say. It's just like, it's so good. I'm just like so enraptured by this story. Like I said, like the last episode broke me and I needed to stay away from this for a while, and then I come back and it's just like immediately just sucked right back in. It's crazy. His voice resounds. I'm covered in wounds. Each of them is deep enough to sink a finger into. I'm seriously screwed.
そんなものに生きている価値はない。何よりこの俺が確信しているのだ。エミヤシロウという男の人生に価値などない。ただ救いたいから救うなど、そもそも感情として間違えている。人間として故障したお前は、初めからあってはならない偽物だった。
God, that's a crazy line. You're a defective fake that never should have existed is crazy. I have almost no magical energy left. To make matters worse, my magic circuits are burning. Yeah, it was a really cool visual. They've been burning since yesterday's projection, actually. Something that was about to break is now completely broken, that's all. But my body protests that it can still fight. I've just been playing tough, pretending that my broken heart is whole. So, I need to stand up and beat him.
無駄なことを。俺はお前の理想だ。叶うはずなどないと、今ので理解できたはずだが。
I invest what remains of my consciousness into all of my circuits. My nerves splinter and scream. Within myself, I weave together 8 counts without skipping a beat.
Dress off.
I acquire his dual swords, Honcho and Bakuya, a pair of masterworks forged by an ancient smith. Jesus. Dude, Shirou, he's another one. All the voice acting in this is so good, but he's another one too. I swing. I'll keep attacking over and over with all my remaining strength until I burn out. Dual swords need dual swords to intercept them. Archer switches weapons to Kansho and Bakuya, then defends against my combo without taking a single step back.
そうか。認めるわけにはいかないのは道理だな。
You are me, after all.
俺がお前の理想である限り、エミやシロは誰よりも俺を否定しなければならない。
Yep. His calm words piss me off. He just keeps quipping at me while I can hardly even breathe. I attack desperately. He locks our swords together without parrying me. I'm being pushed back, weapons and all. There's a vast gap in our physical strength. I don't have a chance of winning a pushing match.
では聞くがな、シロ。お前は本当に正義の味方になりたいと思っている。
Yeah, questioning his ideals even now. Do you really want to become a hero of justice? For an instant, the sudden question makes my mind go blank.
何を今さら俺はなりたいんじゃなくて絶対になるんだよ
Put my muscle into it and glare right back at him. And he answers.
そう。絶対にならなければならない。
Oh!
なぜならそれはエミやシローにとってただ一つの感情だからだ。逆らうことも否定することもできない感情。
That's the only emotion Emiya Shirou feels. You can't deny or reject it because you aren't human, really. You're just...
たとえそれが自身の内から現れたものでないとしても。
Yeah, because it came from Kiritsugu, of course. His heart-wrenching words stopped me in my tracks. It's a desire that didn't come from within me. I deny it before I even consider what that means. Can't let him make me say it. I can't realize what he means. Deep down, I know that if I comprehend what he means, then Emiya Shirou's very foundation will crumble away.
ほう。その様子では、うすうす感づいてはいたようだな。いや、初めから気づいていて、それを必死に遠ざけていただけだったのか。今の俺では、思い出すことさえできないが。
I clamp my lips shut. I don't want to know. I know that I shouldn't know. Still, I finally realize that I have to know it. Emiya Shirou's paradox. The answer to what my mistake was and what's wrong with me.
俺には、もはやお前の記憶などない。
That's crazy.
だが、それでもあの光景だけは覚えて。
Yep.
一面の炎と充満した死の匂い。絶望の中で助けを乞い、
Yep.
叶えられた時の感情。エミやキリツグという男の俺を助け出した時に見せた安堵の顔を。
Oh. Here we go. The fire again. I'd accepted my death and my heart was empty. Then someone saved me. My rescuer smiled at me with tears in his eyes. When I saw that, I thought that he looked so happy.
そうだ。お前はただ一人助けられたことで、助けられなかった人々に後ろめたさを感じていたわけじゃない。ただ、エミやキリツグに憧れただけだ。
And it really is that simple.
あの男のお前を助けた顔があまりにも幸せそうだったから、自分もそうなりたいと思っただけ。
Unbelievable. Right. Back then, I wasn't the one who was saved. I consider a thought that I'd been avoiding. If Kiritsugu caused that fire, then the guilt would have been unbearable. It was a tragedy without a single survivor. Kiritsugu must have searched for survivors like a man possessed. And then he found one when none were expected. He found a child that should have been beyond helping, who shouldn't even have been alive. What a miracle that must have felt like. But I understood that he saved me. I didn't know his circumstances. It was good enough for me that someone rescued me from that hell. Even if the emotion was directed at himself, his will to save me and the earnestness of wishing for someone to be saved were all genuine. And that was enough. It was enough for me that Emiya Kiritsugu saved me after I had become nothing. That's why.
そう。子が親に憧れるのは当然だ。だが、お前はそれが行き過ぎた。
Yep.
エミやキリツグに、エミやキリツグがなりたかったものに憧れるだけならよかった。
Yep.
だが、最後に奴はお前に呪いを残した。言うまでもないだろう。それがお前の全てだと言ってもいい。
じいさんの夢は俺が。
That was the answer. A man even emptier than me heard my innocent words, entrusted his wish to me in relief, and passed away. From that moment on, Emiya Shirou had no choice but to become a hero of justice. My own feelings didn't matter. All I needed to do was become the person I looked up to for the sake of someone I looked up to when I was young. The wish for everyone to be happy was an impossible one, which came from Kiritsugu, not me. Oh my god, this is incredible.
気づいているのだろう、シロ。
Oh my god. Oh, this game does this to me way too much.
お前の理想はただの借り物だ。エミやキリツグという男がなりたかったもの、エミやキリツグが正しいと信じたものを真似ているだけに過ぎない。
So good. I grit my teeth and desperately try to bolster my breaking heart. And yet...
正義の味方だと笑わせるな。誰かのためになるとそう繰り返し続けたお前の思いは決して自ら生み出されたものではない。
Yeah.
そんな男が他人の助けになるなどと思い上がりも甚だしい。
His blades cut through the air. His swings, filled with reproach, rained down on me with unprecedented aggression. Oh my god. As I watch the raging flurry of blows, I accept that I'm going to die here, just like I did 10 years ago. This time Rin's gonna be the savior, I suppose. Impact after impact pounds me down. What's beautiful swordsmanship has deteriorated into brute force. My left arm trembles after blocking the strikes. The shock of it has broken my fingers holding the sword. I scrounge up every bit of mental focus I have left to create a concho and just barely deflect another slash. He's got me. His first assault already pushed me to near death. I won't survive this next barrage of blows. Yet somehow, my heart is broken, but my body denies him with all its might. It screams that he's wrong. Like a part of me earnestly feels that it's wrong to admit he's right and let myself die here. I look up. My eyes aren't working. They don't see my enemy. They only replay his memories. Within them, there's an image of me huddled up like a turtle in its shell, trying desperately to survive. I hear more than the sounds of blades clashing. It's him. With each attack, he berates himself.
そうだ。誰かを助けたいという願いが綺麗だったから憧れた。
Cool ass shot. I don't even know what to say, guys. Like, this is so good. Oh my god. Man. I just cannot emotionally handle this fucking game. Like, I swear to God. Like, genuinely, from, like, an emotional standpoint, like, I don't know, like, if I'm gonna be able to do this third route anytime even remotely soon. Like, this is destroying me. And it's like, I don't know how this game keeps doing it, but unbelievable. I take his sword strikes again and again. Bakia is broken. Concho is my last lifeline.
故に自身からこぼれ落ちた気持ちなどない。これを偽善と言わずなんという。
Does it matter if it's hypocrisy would be my counterpoint, but it's hard to counter anything that bro's saying right now. Concho breaks and my life begins to peter out. My chest hurts. Emiya Shirou's heart is torn apart, not by the waterfall of sword strikes, but by Archer's words.
この身は誰かのためにならなければならないと脅迫観念に突き動かされてきた。それが苦痛だと思うことも破綻していると気づく間もなく、ただ走り続けた。
Denial after denial. With each rejection, I lose my will to fight. My body already wants to retire, unable to take the physical shock. And yet, that very same body keeps denying him desperately.
だが、所詮は偽物だ。そんな偽善では何も救えない。
Oh my god.
いいな。もとより何を救うべきかも定まらない。
You don't even know what you're supposed to be saving. Oh my god. I'm set flying. I sail through the air, not unlike during the encounter with Bazaka. But I plant my feet. His blow threatened to send me tumbling into the rubble, but I stand my ground with all my might. My body knows. It's stubbornly refusing to fall because it knows that it can't get up again once it does. I plant my broken concho in the ground and use it to support my weight. I pitch forward, nearly falling over, and I can't get up. He just keeps on fighting. Even when his soul is no longer in it, he still keeps fighting. I brace myself against Concho with both hands, holding onto it like a walking stick. I must look pathetic. From the side, I might even look like I'm kneeling before him.
その理想は破綻している。自身より他人が大切だという考え。誰もが幸福であってほしい。
He's not wrong.
空想のおとぎ話だ。
You have to love yourself to love others, truly.
そんな夢を抱いてしか生きられないのであれば、抱いたまま溺死しろ。
My life isn't worth living. Oh my god. Oh, that hits too hard. No. He said that my entire life was worthless. My weapons are gone. It's futile to even stand up. Meanwhile, he doesn't even look winded, much less wounded. This duel is decided. No. It was from the very beginning. There was no way Emiya Shirou could ever match the heroic spirit Emiya. But this is wrong too. If the gap in our abilities was truly that large, then this silly scuffle wouldn't even happen. It's my heart that lost this fight. I'm weak because I realized that I'm wrong and accepted that he's right. I've only lost on that front because...
何?
Because my body has been protesting that it won't lose to you. Why else? Why else would it get stronger every time you dismissed my ideals as fake?
ふざけんな、こんちくしょう!
I can reach him. I know I can. If my weapons are broken, I'll just use them as they are. If everything I have is broken, then I'll mobilize everything I don't have. If I haven't lost, then there are depths I've still yet to reach. My headache throbs again. For an instant, I see his scenery. Probably for the last time. I can't understand him, but I think I can learn from his pain. He's a hero whose incantations express and judge himself. Right now, I can't understand the will behind those words, but I'll accept them in your place. Oh, that's so good. I chant the verse loud and proud. Emiya's own words hurt him. He accepted that and chose to kill me. That's all he wanted at the end of his long journey. Now he has to save himself. Then, just as you deny me, I'll strike you down if it's the last thing I do. What is this music?
体は剣でできている。
My body is made of swords. I am the bone of my sword. I whisper it without thinking. I look up. On the verge of death, I stand up to him. I swallow a glob of blood that was blocking my throat. The once fading Yang sword, Kansho, is cloaked in a concrete image once more.
貴様まだ。
そうだ。こんなのが夢だなんて。そんなこと。
I'm pretty sure this is a new theme too. I could be wrong, but I've always known that. But I've kept believing in it because I think it's right. I followed in Kiritsugu's footsteps because it's a dream that won't come true and an impossible ideal. Even if it never comes true, if I keep running, I'll get close to it one day.
そうか。彼女の鞘。契約が切れたところで、その守護は続いている。
Yep. Shoutouts to the fate route. I ready my sword. I don't care about that. Right now, I just...
お前には負けない。誰かに負けるのはいい。
Yep.
けど、自分には負けられない。
But I'll never lose to myself. Need to keep being Emiya Shirou until the very end. Yo! Oh my god. It is an unbelievable fight between swords. He charges in despite being fully wounded. His fingers are broken, his limbs shredded. He hasn't even realized that he's not breathing anymore. The speed is insignificant, and the blows he delivers are mediocre. He may have absorbed Archer's knowledge and advanced to a point where he could fight him, but he's back to being a boy again. He executes a haphazard, mediocre attack, and yet, that first blow is heavier than any of the other attacks before. Apathy turns to astonishment. His sword seems to shout. The boy swings a longsword faster than his opponent ever imagined. Where is this power coming from? The vigor of their clash reaches an unprecedented pitch. A man can't even pivot to defense. Each attack is lethal enough to take his head. He judges that this situation must be taken seriously and moves his swords accordingly. Up and down, left and right. The 4 slashes unleashed in an instant are enough to cut the boy to ribbons. But he blocks them. No. The boy launches a bladed tempest that overcomes the fourfold technique. He wields his longsword with swift skill. The man senses that he must attack or be cut down. The longsword assails its dying enemy. The boy swings his sword full-heartedly. The two sides struggle. Sparks fill the air, declaring that any who enter the ring will be torn apart. But this should be the dying spark of a walking corpse. With each attack, the boy's breathing becomes more labored and he looks closer to a collapse. But he takes another step and attacks again. Having seen this, the man is sure of something. His enemy doesn't have any strength left. The boy in front of him is a walking corpse. And yet why does the boy continue to wield the sword as if he has infinite strength? He isn't conscious of it. He doesn't know what his opponent is doing, nor can he tell if his attacks are working. He cries out, his muscles begging for oxygen. They demand that he stop due to a lack of blood. And he pushes through it all with brute force. Yep. He's never giving up. Like he said, this is the one person he can never lose to. Only one thought occupies his mind. His feelings are fake. Just like this guy says, he probably can't become a hero of justice. As long as Emiya Shirou looks up to that goal, he'll reach the same destination as the man before him. And yet it doesn't matter. But he felt that it was beautiful. He knows that it's hypocritical to value others over himself. And still, he longed for such a life, wondering how nice it would be to live that way. It's the only motivation driving his body forward on the verge of death. He can't hear what his enemy is saying. It speaks to how fierce the clash is and how meek his foe's voice is. Looking closer, the boy's hands gripping the sword have melded with the hilt. What? That's crazy. He must have done it to secure the sword, but by doing that, he will directly feel the impact from the sword. He's bloody, and if he takes a single step back, he'll pitch over. The boy's accepted that each swing of his sword will be hellish suffering. It irritates the man, but he takes it. It seems to offend his stubbornly persistent enemy. But he's just as irritated with himself for not backing down when he knows that even one step back would end this. But how could he retreat now? There's no room for parley now, and he's in a pitched duel with his enemy. It would be shameful to turn his back on the childishly forged sword, and it would be utterly humiliating not to meet the attacks head on. All it would take for his enemy to destroy himself is for the man to retreat one step, but in the end, it's still Emiya in there, and he's a prideful son of a bitch. But he senses that he'll have conceded something decisive if he backs down now exactly. Soon, this worry will fade. His enemy is at his limits. 3 more attacks. If he repels just 3 attacks, his enemy will destroy himself. He clicks his tongue at his own foolishness. Just earlier, he thought the boy had 2 attacks left, then he delivered more than 10. The boy isn't going to fall. The boy's voice is inaudible. The boy who's on the brink of death frantically goes up against the obstacle before him. Oh, that was cool. And then he sees him. He looks upon him with his own eyes for the first time. I keep swinging my sword until I reach my foe, with arms ready to fall off. The only thing that can be heard is a strained yell. That shout is the price I pay for each exchange of blows. There are the people who weren't saved and myself who wasn't saved. The memories come unbidden, and I swore that I'd never let this happen again. Yep, not a mistake. How many years have passed? There were things that were lost. Things I lost. There will always be things that I forget and fail to pick up. That's why I made an oath that I won't forget. To become a hero of justice, to always do what's right. Even if it isn't my own wish, even if it's just a way to lighten my own sins, I'll keep that oath. I'll make the dream come true. When I was young, someone saved me and trusted me with his dream and passed away alone. I believe in the wish behind his words. Even if the whole world shuns me and the oath turns out to be a curse, I won't give it up. Yep, that's a true determination beyond what should be possible. And then, the man realizes that there is no end to this repeating conflict. This enemy will not stop. The enemy will not stop on his own. His enemy makes each attack with desperate abandon, but he isn't even aware of who he's fighting. The boy is trying to cut down himself. He is the one who is doing the obstructing. The man's enemy is swinging, and I love how we're switching the 2 perspectives. Is really cool. The man's enemy is swinging his sword for everything he's believed in, and everything he'll continue to believe in, and will never stop believing in. Realizing that, the man gnashes his teeth. He sees the boy keep fighting, even if he knows he can't win, even if he knows there's no point. That is the exact mistake the man once made. So why? Why does he want to see how far this boy will go? He wants to see if there's something there. He raises his longsword. The enemy's attacks can no longer be trifled with. He repels the attacks and counters with a strike meant to crush the enemy's skull with certainty. The high-pitched sound of metal. The boy repels what should have been a decisive blow. He couldn't even stop one attack until now, but he easily defended against a strike delivered with the man's full might. 1/10 of his might, because again, this is a handicapped version of Archer, but nonetheless, this is still impressive. He holds his breath. The enemy flicks his sword and resheaths it in a single large stance. But his eyes, they're looking straight at him. The impact breaks one of my limbs. My sense of pain isn't numb at all. The pain is enough to knock me out, but I push through it with sheer rage. I'm dehydrated. I can't afford to lose any more liquid. The enemy's left arm is wide open. I've lost one side of my body, so this will have to be the last blow. But that thought doesn't enter my head. All I can think is... He slashes with the longsword in an effort to protect his exposed left chest. He can make it. It would be easy to close the distance. This is my last chance. That's the only thought on my mind. Even if Emiya Shirou is fake, this is real. He wants everyone to be happy. It's an ideal that everyone's felt, I'm sure. So I won't take it back, because this dream will always be... His gaze is straight. Mistakes and lies. He shakes off everything that pierces him. And he continues to run without stopping. Oh, here we go. The words drive straight into his chest. The attack comes, fueled by hell-bent determination. There's enough time to block it. But the gears never turn in his head, and the battle draws to an abrupt close. Holy shit. Holy shit. Stab. I mean, that has to be one of the coolest fights ever. And, like, again, this is the type of fight that, like, again, an anime can never truly, I feel like, translate something like that. Like, that was incredible. Man, that was awesome. I'm like an emotional wreck. I'm sure you guys can hear it in my voice. It's kind of going all over the place. I'm all fucked up here. I can't keep going much longer, but hopefully there's a good stopping point coming. But I feel like we still have a ways to go in this scene. He hears the sound of the blade piercing his chest. The surprised one is, of course, the Red Knight. Boy bet everything on a desperate attack, so he would expect it to defeat his opponent. He couldn't afford to make any other choice anyway. So it is the knight who is surprised. Truly, he wonders why he didn't defend against an attack that would have been easy to stop. He wants to help Shirou make his dream come true, because it was his dream too. I'm about to collapse, so I lean on my good right leg. I drove Concho into Archer's chest.
Archer. なぜ?
Has she been watching the whole time? Saber asks a question from the entrance to the hall. Archer doesn't answer. Maybe he feels that he doesn't need to, or maybe he doesn't have an answer for her. My fingers feel numb. My broken fingers tell me that they can't hold a sword anymore. The Red Knight doesn't move. I might have stabbed him through the chest, but he's a servant, so he could easily counterattack. But his arms remain at his sides and show no sign of movement. I know what that means, of course. I fix my gaze on him and declare victory. The Red Knight closes his eyes once and admits. He stares into the distance. His murmur sounds like it was meant to convince himself. Holy shit. Shirou versus Archer fought Heroic Spirit Emiya and won. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I think I need to stop here. I'm sorry, but like I just can't. Like this was like let me just go back to the title screen. I'm an emotional wreck after that. That was an incredible experience. But like I said, this game is I don't want to say ruining my life. I feel like that's a bit hyperbolic, but this story is just something else. Like I said, a few things have ever emotionally resonated with me the way that Fate Stay Night has. And generally speaking, I think Unlimited Blade Works has been better than Fate. as far as the routes go. But I emotionally resonated so much with late stage, with like kind of the end game of the Fate route, that was kind of my one caveat without ever saying that like Unlimited Blade Works was better than Fate for the longest time, was, well, let's see how I feel when we get to the end of the UBW, and if I can emotionally resonate with it in the same way I did for the Fate route. And sure enough, I have had those just incredible emotional, visceral reactions to stuff here in the later stages of Unlimited Blade Works, and I probably said in the last video or in recent times, like, Unlimited Blade Works definitely has surpassed the Fate route for me, but I think it just keeps extending further of just how much I actually do love Unlimited Blade Works, and just how brilliant of a story Fate Stay Night in general is, but specifically the Unlimited Blade Works route of Fate Stay Night. There's just like, this is just, it's taken everything. Like this wasn't a super long video, but again, the content in this episode was absolutely brutal and just so good. And like, the stuff with Rin and Kirei and all of them was absolutely phenomenal. And then you get, obviously, the Emiya versus Shirou fight. It was just absolutely legendary. Again, from like especially like, I feel like the structure, like, again, I feel like this was a fight that was done in a very specific way that, certainly I feel like only a written work could do something like that, but I think especially like a visual novel was able to portray that fight in such a unique way that made it so brilliant and so compelling. And specifically because I've seen this fight in visual novel form, Emiya versus Shirou is one of my favorite fights I've ever seen in fiction, and I feel like that's very specifically because I've witnessed it in VN form, and the way they were able to tell that story with the very unique writing perspectives while also still having, a soundtrack behind it and the voice acting behind it, and just the whole combination of the unique presentation that is a visual novel, I think made that one of my favorite fights I've ever seen in fiction. And like I said, I love Emiya so much, and, Shirou is such an interesting character, from his perspective and his world as we see it here, and that fight could only ever go one way, and it was the way that it went, and it was absolutely fucking brilliant, and I loved it so much. And like I said, I actually wasn't, a lot of times I play visual novels, I'm going at my own pace, I'm saying the lines, but I'm also, adding in my commentary, a bunch throughout, but for a lot of that, I was just dying emotionally, crying, and just reading the lines, because it was like, I needed to see what would happen, but also, like, what is there even to say? Like, I feel like this game, at times, does the commentary for me. Like, there wasn't any commentary I could really add on that, because the commentary was literally in the story. It was quite literally reacting for me, and I just had nothing to react to, nothing to speak on, right? So my commentary and my reaction was almost non-existent. Well, I mean, my reaction was there. You could tell how emotional I was, surely, but it was kind of one of those things where I just felt like there was nothing really left to do. You just had to let it ride, right? Like, it was so brilliant. It was such an incredible moment, such an incredible scene, such an incredible fight that, and again, I was like incredibly caught up in it emotionally, and it was just breaking me, as you guys clearly could hear. And this game just continues to fuck me over and over. Like, I'm just getting like just absolutely fucked in the ass by Fate Stay Night. It's crazy. I don't even know what to say. Like, this was phenomenal. This was incredible. I mean, like, this was, again, one of, easily one of, if not the best episodes. Like, I don't know how it keeps doing this, but I can't handle this goddamn game. And I don't know if I'm going to actually play more tonight or tomorrow or whatever, but I will be playing more very soon. Despite how emotionally wrecking that was, I am definitely going to be playing more in the coming day or two, and you guys will get you guys would get more. I think the next video for this will probably be on like Saturday. I don't know, but it'll be less than a week. You know, because like my rotation stuff's a little out of whack. I'm kind of like fixing things and whatever, but I don't know. This was absolutely phenomenal. I loved it. I loved it. This is one of the greatest. I mean, this really is, like, whatever you want to call it, one of the greatest stories, one of the greatest novels, one of the greatest video games, like, whatever. Like Fate Stay Night is just absolutely brilliant, and this story is just so compelling, and the emotional resonance behind the way that this series handles its philosophical ideals and how that permeated in the end game of the Fate route, and we're seeing it again here with Unlimited Blade Works. It's just absolutely phenomenal, and that's again another reason why I'm absolutely terrified at the fact that somehow we have to do this all over again one more time with Heaven's Feel. Like, I can't even imagine the third time, because now I'm not going to doubt that, like, they can get me a third time, because they've got me twice now between Fate and UBW, so why should I think that Heaven's Feel will be any different? Like, what the fuck? Absolutely phenomenal stuff. I loved this episode, and I'm kind of, like, recovering here. I'm drinking my tiny bit of water I have left, my big cup of water. You know, I was going through most of it. My voice was struggling. Even at the beginning of the episode, it was struggling, and little did I know how emotional this episode would be. I mean, even though I knew it was going to be pretty peak, but even still, like, I could never have guessed it would have been that emotional. But what a climax to the Emiya and Shirou storyline. Like, unbelievable stuff. Like, absolutely just brilliant. And I don't really have anything else to say about it. Like, that was... I mean, that was some of the best storytelling I've ever seen, especially in the context of a fight. Just absolutely brilliant stuff, and I am in love with this game. Like, again, I don't even want to think about, like, in the long run, like, what this story means to me, but this is certainly one of the stories that means the most to me that I think I've ever experienced in my life. And the craziest thing is, while we clearly are in the end game of Unlimited Blade Works, again, there is still a whole nother third of this game, and that is just terrifying. But yeah, I mean that was just absolutely phenomenal. I loved it so much. I hope you guys are enjoying my Let's Play. I know it's been a long ass time since I played Fate, but you guys, this is now, again, a lot of it is just me being inconsistent and not posting a lot in general. But with the Fate, there's also the part of me where it's like Fate is just fucking me so hard that you guys just have to kind of understand that, like, this game is ruining my life. So, you know, be patient with me on Fate in particular. And hopefully we're banging this out until the end of Unlimited Blade Works. But again, I can't stress enough how unsure I am about actually playing Heaven's Feel after Danganronpa V3. Like, I don't want to play. Like, it's one of those weird things where it's like, this game is so good, it's incredible, but, like, I genuinely am, like, afraid to keep going. Like, it's actually, like, because that's how much it, like, emotionally affects me. And, like, I just am, like, so... I don't know. Like, obviously I will do Heaven's Feel one day, but I don't know. I just feel like I need a much longer break from it than I'm actually going to get. So I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, it's kind of just something that I'm going to kind of wait and see. Maybe down the line I'll feel better about it and I'll jump into this hell for a third time, but I don't know. This game is just so peak. I mean, genuinely feels like one of the greatest stories ever told. That genuinely does not feel like hyperbole to me. Like, Fate Stay Night is absolutely brilliant. It's incredible, and I can't wait to experience the rest of it. I can't wait to finish this route, but I do feel like today was the peak. Last episode as well, but, you know, this stuff with Archer, I feel like definitely was the peak of Unlimited Blade Works, and we'll see how it ends, but it's hard for me to imagine anything in this route topping this. Although I don't want to say nothing will top this, because as hard as it is for me to imagine that anything else will top this in, you know, Heaven's Feel or whatever, who knows, honestly, at this point, with just how insane this freaking story is, dude. Nasu's a god. It's crazy. Anyways, I'm gonna end it off there. I had a great time. I mean, well, I didn't actually have a great time. I was fucking breaking down, crying, and, like, dying over here, but you know, it was an experience that I'll never forget, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Anyways, without any further ado, I must bid you adieu. Flavin Shark signing out. Hope you have a wonderful, fantastical day, and I'll see you next time with another video. Thanks for watching. Peace.